Just gonna finish this. So welcome to the first episode of Smoking with Jay. Gotta have some seasoning. You know, you do that shit. So let me just finish this and we'll get straight to it. So today we're gonna talk about something that a few of you guys were actually asking, provide more detail, talk about the process, the journey of going from step A to step Z of, as you can tell by the title, trading the account. I think it was about 2 years ago, trading from the $300 to the 61K in a week. How did I go about doing that? What was my thought process? How did things lead up to that week to begin with? I'm gonna touch on it real quick. I have no notes, I have nothing like that. I'm just really going off my memory. And I'll probably just add some pictures in, if like need be or whatever. So realistically, we only have as long as this lasts and we'll try to go on. But so I think I'll also take this time. I think I'll also take this time to touch on some funny ass shit that I just seen in the comments, because I did a podcast with Trading Nut and I basically go over and I talk about that experience just very lightly. The people had the worst things to say, but I understand, it's unbelievable, it's extreme, okay? But let's talk about how we got up to that point. So essentially, right, this happened, I believe, around February, March 2019. And now I believe today is, so this happened maybe about 2 years ago. The way things had led up to that, I've been trading from that day. From now, I've been trading for about maybe 6 or 7 years. And, in the beginning of trading, when you don't have the right mindset and things just like that, I went into trading with a whole bunch of high risk trading. That's the thing. I'm not here for a long time. I just want to make 100 mil real quick and leave. But that's not the way how trading works. So at some point in time, when I started actually making some money from trading, that's what I really started to diversify and take on multiple different accounts. So I had the low risk account, the medium risk account, and the high risk account. Okay, so you got to understand that there's 3 different risk profiles to the account. Low risk is only low risk stuff. It's meant to last. I'm definitely not trying to blow my account. The medium risk, I don't really dabble in that too much. It's mainly just low risk and high risk. And then the high risk, I personally like it. It's just something I do personally and something I strive to get better returns at. I know that I'm staying very close to my margin sometimes on the trades, or over leveraging, things just like that. And I'm going to talk about that. Over leveraging is not really a thing unless that's not what you plan to do. If it's a high risk account and you plan to use the leverage to your abilities, use the leverage to your advantage, which I do, right? And I advise everyone to use the leverage to your advantage, because you got to remember something. There's a lot of people in this world that don't have a lot of things. They're still making do with what they have. Look, no matter where you start in life, you got to use the things that are around you. You can't be waiting for this to come in and this to come in and this to come in. You use what's around you at this point in time to progress forward. At every point in time, you have what you need around you right now to progress a little bit further. Feel me? 2 years prior would make it 2017. So not 2017, but 2018, right? I was still running the high risk account, and this was probably my most successful run yet, where I brought a $200 account up to about $2,500, and I hope I can post the screenshots right here. That was my best run. That I ended up blowing that account on about a Wednesday or a Tuesday or something like that. So from there, my mind is just on the realization that, wait, if I blew my account on Tuesday or Wednesday, I could have kept going for the rest of the week and still made a lot more money for the rest of the week. So I'm amped. I already see it in my mind that it's possible. My original goal before going into that was just making 10K, going from 100 to 10K in a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and then I'd be happy with that. But it's a very hard task, and I would say that I've always made the most money doing high risk trading during January, February, March, and April. Those months have always killed it year back to back, every year, okay? So we have the first year where we went from about 200 to 2,500 in the 2-3 days, and then I blew the account. I'm still trying this every day, like every week. I was still trying to accomplish this and do more to 10K. And another thing is just like, I was always taking, like, because I was working my job, I was always splitting up my pay. And I talk about this. You have the 50, 30, 20 rule. So basically 50% goes to something, 30% goes about entertainment, and 20% goes to savings, because you got to save your money, right? So basically, I kept trying this on the high risk account, and I kept failing. But I understand when I'm taking these trades, I understand that I'm putting the whole account up for risk, essentially. And I'm gonna break this down for you a little. So if you have a $100 account, okay, and you're trading Forex, because that's what I do, trade Forex. You have a $100 account. This can realistically only sustain a 100 pip loss, okay? At a 100 pip loss is 100% of the account. Now, a lot of people in the comments were saying, oh, I messed up because I said I only risk 30% of my account. The one time I said I only risk 30 pips of the account, which is the same thing. It's the same thing when you're risking 0.10, which is mini lot. When you're risking that on $100 account, if I take a 30 pip loss, I'm losing 30% of my account. So that's how that goes. But that's how I would do it for every trade, almost. And then, yeah, essentially, from that, I kept failing. I kept losing the money that I was placing in the high-risk account. But I'm okay with that because my personal goal was to just achieve higher and higher and higher. And actually, this week, I achieved more than the 2019 outcome, okay? So after that, we hit 2019, and I am still working my job. I think I quit in about March, okay? So there I was, just flipping the account. I was flipping this account, obviously, like while I'm at work. I'd be using my phone at work even when I'm not supposed to. You gotta hustle the way you're gonna hustle if you're gonna attain this shit. Or just be on the charts while you can. I wasn't allowed to, but still I was. But it's just that I understand, okay, when I have $300 in the account, my first trade is gonna be 30 mini lot. I was doing this, and basically the money was stacking up. I was using the Fibonacci strategy, the Fibonacci extension strategy, which I mentioned here and there. It's on the public YouTube for the Pip Academy. It's on, and then it's more detailed in the course. But basically that just allowed me to get in at extreme zones, what I would call mental zones, where things are going against the trend at this point in time, but I understand that the higher trend should still prevail. So I take my trades there, okay? If I get negative 30 pips on that trade, I'm willing to take the loss. Now, one thing you gotta think about with percentages is like if you have $100, right, and you lose 30% of that, which is gonna bring you down to $70 on that next trade, I'm only gonna trade 0.07 and then I'm only gonna risk 30% of that again. It's always gonna be 30%, even if I'm down to $10, which I recommend everybody to do the $10. Because listen, everybody don't have money like that. Like, it's very important to understand. Like, look, a lot of people say start a trading account with a higher balance, save up 10K. Listen, there's no reason for you to save up money to deposit into your trading account, like a large amount, because the money you get from a job is fairly easy compared to trading, the money you'll make in trading, okay? So to take the money that you saved up, depositing it into a trading account, and think that you have a better chance of success because you have more money in the account is ridiculous thinking. You have no skills, you cannot utilize a lower account, essentially, right? And I try to show people this. Like, there's also, I talk about this in the Forex webinar that's also on that page, where I talk about basically the $1 million person. Like, there is a psychological cap to how much money someone can have. So like, if someone wins the lottery and they make $1 million, if they're not used to having $1 million, at that point in time, either they're gonna do better and gain more money, or they're gonna be like, you know what, I can't do better, and they're gonna lose that money. Most people, wealth is a mindset, and the mindset will generate an income. If you don't have that mindset, even if you have $1 million, you're still gonna be back to the poor mindset, essentially, right? Because it's your mindset that's gonna lead on to other things. Where was I? Basically, I was flipping up the account, I was using the Fibonacci, and I was very tight on my stop losses. So like once I'm 30 pips in profit, at that point in time, I know break even my trade, either close the trade or hold the trade. And for a lot of them, they were just very strong momentum runners. So I held the trade and they continue on in profit, right? Essentially, that's how that goes, where it was just able, I believe Friday I was actually here, and that same Friday I was actually here, and I was in that GU trade where that GU trade, I was probably in a bunch of positions, and I ended up losing 2 of them, because I remember I went from about 23k down to 19k, and then by the end of the market close, like, because I got out before the end of the market closed, yeah, basically that's when I closed out all my trades for about, I want to say it was like 50 something k in profit, where we closed out at 64k, and then I ended up just withdrawing 61,595, some shit like that. So essentially, what I really took from that is it's not over leveraging the account, but it's right risk. There's something which I hope I'll be able to talk about later called it's called rightness. There's right thinking, right speech, and right action. Basically, this just means the things that you do are all progressive in nature. Even if I do something and fail, it's still right action because I'm taking something from this. The only time you don't have right action stuff is when you do negative stuff. Don't do negative stuff because those are not right. And then essentially I ended up putting the money back in and then trading it for the next week because I felt like I'm on a good streak here, so let me just continue. Now, another thing which I want to touch on, because a lot of people were saying like this doesn't make sense. Why would I have all that money and still work my job? Okay, listen, never ever should you count on money you have not received yet. Like, it's basically the same thing as like counting your chickens before they hatch. Sure, I know that I'm supposed to be getting this money from XYZ, but yo, if the money doesn't touch you, if the item doesn't touch you, it's not in your possession. You can't say you have it if you don't actually have it. And how many times do people, like, I had this experience with my first broker and my second broker, where basically, you know, I made money in the account, but then when it came time to withdraw, these guys, terrible customer service, basically I didn't get my money. So I'm already aware from the situation, like, yo, even though I make the money, the broker can still be that person that says, no, you're not gonna get it. And then what do? You know? So I'm not gonna quit my job while the money's in the trading account, not in my bank account. That's just off the top. So sorry, once I actually got the money, I was already quitting, right? No, basically from the withdrawal process went through, because like it's not just one witdraw and then straight to my bank account. It was like one withdrawal, I sent it to somewhere else, and then I sent it to somewhere else. But basically, I wanted to just be able to be clear that the broker wasn't going to try to pull none, and the broker was going to actually withdraw the funds. Okay, so once that happened, I wrote my 2 weeks, my 2 weeks letter, because like I probably had like 6 or 7 jobs. I held down one job for 1 year, and then the next year that I've been working, I kind of like, I've been through a lot of jobs, you feel me? So, and I never once given a 2 weeks notice. My sister's a manager. She tells me like it's the right thing to do to give 2 weeks, you know, like give them preparation time. But nah. So I said, basically, because I've quitted this job, you know, I wanted to quit on the spot. Like, that's what I'm used to. That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna quit and just be like, yo, I'm not showing up to work for the rest of the time. Like, I'm done. Feel me? You know, like I'm feeling more positive, like with my situation, because I already know I don't have to work for years because of this situation, right? And I'm just like, my sister's saying give the 2 weeks, but I'm like, I don't really want to give 2 weeks. 2 weeks is too long. Like, one thing about this job as well is like, this job, I'm the only person not going to school, right? And like there's other employees that don't go to school, like because they're older than me, you know. But like a majority of the people working there were students, like that would be like me, my age, right? And I was like 21, 20, 21, those times, right? I think like 2021, those times. And my job, like, you have a schedule with the job, right? These guys just started being rude because like it was like school time was coming up, probably the September previously, and these guys started to be weird, like scheduling me off, like scheduling me 9 a.m. shifts. And I told these guys like, yo bro, don't be scheduling me no 9 a.m. shifts, like, and I show up late. If I go to work on time, I finish all my work like early, and then I'm just there chilling. And on top of that, like trading was like, these high risk trades were going so well that I'm like, what am I even going to work for? Like I go to work and I make $100 to $130 a day every time I work, and then like that's after tax and everything. I'd say I'd make like $90 to $130 a day, right, bro? And I showed my boss that, yo bro, like, can you just deal with the schedule properly? Like bro, one thing, I'm not trying to wake up 9 a.m. to come here and chill, like, and do nothing, right? These guys didn't want to deal with me, so I'm like, yo, if anything, I'm just gonna write the 2 or 3 day letter, the 2 or 3 day notice, whatever. Like, yo, basically, I know I said like I was gonna quit when the next week starts. I was gonna just finish off this week and start when the next week starts. And essentially that's what I did, you know. I just ended up quitting the job, and then I started just doing my own trading shit now, like, because I'm chilling. I went on a little shopping spree and I'm chilling, you know. Apart from that, like, I want to tell you guys this because like this is a learning experience for me, and this is something like I had to research and find out about. Yo, you see, when you work a job and like when you're in school, it's so easy for you to follow their command. Like there's a leader in charge and the leader tells you what to do, and it's easier to do shit that way. So see, when I'm not working my job no more, I find myself like getting lazy. Like what do I have to do? Nothing. I don't have, like, I've been working for so long, going to school for so long, that's like, shit, like what the fuck am I gonna do? So, you know, you just gotta take the time to understand that like a person needs someone to tell them what to do. And in most cases, like, even though people say they want to do things and like, oh, I'm gonna take this upon myself to do it, when time comes for a lot of people, they just don't do it, right? And that is a real issue. So it dawned on me that I still have to be able to tell myself, okay, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, so I can get up and still do something, still provide work for myself. Feel me? After I got over that for like a few months, because like I was still trading, showing everything on Instagram, and people were telling me, like, asking me how I do this. So basically I went on, I think it took way longer than expected, but I originally thought it would take like 5 months or so to like talk about, you know, make the course, talk about how I go about trading and everything like that. But it realized that there's a big mental difference from what I know as a trader and the starting out phase for a lot of people, right? Or just to like see the gap. So I really worked with it a lot to make it super simple. And basically the one thing that you have to do is repeat it, because that's how you learn, by repetition, right? So just be aware of the shit that you repeat, because these are the things you're getting better at. These are things that even if it's bad things you're doing, you're getting better at these bad things, and they just become easier to do. They say like making money is a habit. So if you just do those things that acquire money and they come into a habit, bro, you're just gonna be doing them all the time. Like, it's normal for you. That's what you do. When I actually like finish the content material, the videos, the courses, the courses, the YouTube videos, the tests, all those things, the public work, when I did all my research and I did all that, one of the things I must say that I didn't realize at the time is that most people don't really have it in them to go out and, like, they're not really dedicated to trading. They just have the wrong mindset behind it, or they never had to go out and like, they have to acquire this, like they just have to acquire this. Okay, you have those people with that mentality, and it's not even just for trading, but it's the conviction to be like, yo, like it's life or death, or like it's this or this, like you must perform in this situation. So that is the biggest obstacle for a lot of traders, just because like these guys, look, everybody has a plan, but once the plan, like once something comes and interrupts the plan, everybody's ready to quit. And like that's not the way you get shit done. That's not the way you actually accomplish things. Okay, so when I'm trying to do these high risk flips, growing a small account to a very large account, look, I lost bare money like doing that, but I'm okay with that. Like the way I set up my job pay, I had certain money going to my bills, certain money going to trading. It was about $300 a pay. And then because there's also the thing with the low risk trading, obviously the more money you have in the account, the better you'll do, because you can take lower risk. So essentially that's the one thing I did. Money went towards the high risk account and money went towards the low risk account, because the low risk was still working. But the one thing about the low risk is it wasn't generating enough money for me to like leave my job. And at this point in time, like one thing you'll realize as well is like, because I guess I never had the experience to see this, but it's like even I will have like poor spending habits. So it dawned on me, like I'm still in my head, I'm still young, I'm still like I think of myself like as like my peers. A lot of my peers are still in school, still working, all that shit. So realistically, if I went down that same path, that's what I would be doing. So it's still just work mode for me, you feel? So I'm just chilling. Realistically, one thing that I say that for like the poor spending habits is because like if you just have money on you, one thing you'll try to do is break it up to see how you can spend it, which is one thing that you don't do as well. I just pay myself like 3, 4, 5 times more than what my job used to pay me, because yo, the job's paying me like I think when I did my taxes, it was like 18K for the year, which is kind of ridiculous. Like it seemed really ridiculous because in 1 week I had made that whole year. I made 3 years worth of job work in a week. So it's like it shows me as well, like it's really more of a mental thing. Like you're not that far away from where you really want to be. Just put the work in. Don't quit. You quit, you're not getting there. So yeah, from there you have this week where, so the 300 to 61, the 300 to 64, that was maybe that was a 27,000 percent increase. Let me just check right now. Yeah, so it was just about 26,500%, whatever. But this week we basically took a small account, grew it up to a large account, and today is Wednesday, and we basically brought that about, I think from the last snapshot I did, it was about 46,000%. So that's basically the other increase in percentage. So it's like each year, and like I said, it's February, so each year around these times it's like the high, maybe it's the month thing, maybe it's something I don't know. I like the winter months, and this is the start of it. I'm not really sure what it is that makes this season, this point in time, the best for my high risk trades. That's the way it's been working. So yeah, that's all I really got to say. You know, like the road ahead is always tough, no matter what you're doing. You got to persist and keep going. Like that's the way shit works. So even when you're trading, like one thing as well is I probably won't talk about this here, but I'll probably mention it. But like the TPA channel covers all that. It's like there are losses that happen in trading, necessary losses. These losses are business expenses. These things are needed so that success can happen. That's the way that goes. Okay, so yeah, I think that just wraps up the 300 to 61K in the week, 64K, whatever. Peace. I'll catch you in the next video. Yeah, until next time.